Alright, now that we're back, I've done a little checking, and it turns out there is one last side quest we can actually do before we go on to the next dungeon. I initially thought that you needed to complete the next dungeon for this side quest to be completable, but turns out that's not the case.
Something's missing.
So first you have to talk to this lady. Well, some talent would be nice. I said talent!
Did you just say what I think you said? Could you repeat that?
No, actually I said red.
You think so? I'm fresh out of red, which is why I haven't been using it, but...
So get some, lady.
But there's nothing wrong with this cold look either.
I love how you can just tell her that her painting lacks talent. That's like... There are some really mean responses you can give to the NPCs in this game. Alright, so this side quest is actually like a little bit cryptic because you're probably thinking you need to find some kind of red paint or crayon or chalk, but you can't find that anywhere on the island, and the game clearly isn't going to let you substitute blood for red paint. That would be kind of silly. But no, what you're actually supposed to do is you go in the marketplace and where could you possibly find something red that you could draw with? It's in the clothing store. And you talk to the cashier, and she gives you, I'm not kidding, her lipstick. How would anyone know that the solution to this puzzle is to ask this one woman in the entire game for some lipstick? And I just realized her model is unique. All of the shopkeepers like that you can't even buy from, they all have unique models, but the junk store lady's model is recycled sometimes. There are a lot of unique NPC models in this game, but they sometimes recycle them in the weirdest places. So anyhow, I'm gonna call roll to make this go a little bit quicker, getting back to the lady. And you can also give her the music box. The music box is the third and final gift for roll. And of course, you're forced to give it to her. You can't brag about being a fast runner forever. Wait, fast runner? We don't even run. We use the jet skates to beat that minigame. Why do they keep saying you're a fast runner? You were using skates. You're using jet roller skates, and I don't know. Alright, so let's give the lipstick to this lady. I don't know if she's going to seriously use used lipstick
What's that?
to paint her painting.
Borrow that for a second?
Oh my goodness, she's actually going to do it. This can't be serious.
That's it. That's perfect. That's exactly what it needed. Thank you so much.
Oh, there's that phrase again. Thank you so much. I didn't even notice. So yeah, you might be wondering what doing that even did, but it turns out that that lady works at the museum, and she's conveniently, like, not doing her job until you help her finish her painting. Please ignore the foreshadowing on that painting on the wall there. There is no foreshadowing, it's just a picture of somebody shooting an arrow at a bounce house, I guess. So you know all those items I was collecting that I said were going to be used for something eventually? Well, the museum is it.
I just paint for fun in my spare time.
And you can see her painting on the wall just above her. It now has red in
Why
it.
don't you take a look around? I know there's not much here, but... Wait, you're a digger.
Yes, you may have seen me on TV if you weren't staring at your painting all day long.
Could you bring it here and show it
So
to
yes,
me?
that's the side quest. Collect a bunch of items and just, like, give it to the museum.
Great, thanks.
So every time you get one of those items that serves no other purpose,
What got there?
like, she'll talk about it for a little bit and then asks to keep it.
Oh well, a lot of the people who come here are into strange things like this. It doesn't
That's
look
Art
like much.
Appreciation 101 for you.
can display it here. I'll call it an ancient digging tool. What do you say? Thank you so
And she says this line every time you let her keep something. So yeah, let's pretend I donated all 7 of my items. Now, I want to talk a little about the requirements for finishing this side quest, because after you donate a certain number of items to the museum, this lady appears. She gives you the reward for this side quest. It's not given by the curator herself, oddly enough. But I'm actually a little confused as to what the requirements for her to actually appear are, because there are 8 items you can donate to the museum. I only have 7 of them actually donated. Like, I'm missing 1 item from the next dungeon, and this item, by the way, it makes the best weapon in the game. It's the final component for the Infinity +1 gun, I guess. So I'm actually not sure, like, what items you actually need, because the items I have are the old heater, the old bone, the old doll, a shiny object, a shiny red object, which I had to sequence break to get, the giant horn, and an old shield. I think that's all of them. So yeah, we're going to develop the items now. The Spread Buster is a weapon I've had the components for a little bit. It shoots out a bunch of bombs simultaneously, and it's actually really good for cleaning out lots of enemies at once. But it's easily overshadowed by the Shining Laser, which needs the X-Buster, the weapon plans, or was it the Ancient Glow? No, it was the weapon plans. The X-Buster, weapon plans, and Prism Crystal create the strongest weapon in the game. You point, you shoot, enemies die. And maxing it out makes it even more powerful, but oh, believe me, that costs a pretty penny. Also, we got another buster part that's completely useless. So yeah, if you sequence break like I did and collect all of those items, I think you can technically have the Shining Laser, like all of the components for it, by the time you're up to the Lake Ruins boss. So yeah, I should probably make a video sometime of me using the Shining Laser on that guy. But anyways, now that we're all done with side quests for the time being, there's only really a couple more left, but we have to unlock them. So let's go ahead and clean out the next dungeon. Oh yes, if you give Roll the music box, you'll hear it playing in this room from now on. So that's a neat little detail. That's all 3 gifts. We'll find out what that does at the end of the video. So we're going to switch to the Grand Grenade. Sadly, we cannot use the Shining Laser quite yet, because the Grand Grenade or the Powered Buster is a required weapon for the next dungeon, which we will now travel to. A short little cutscene to herald us arriving there. I'm surprised she didn't fix the... I'm surprised she didn't fix the tail fin of the ship there. Anytime you want to take off now. Or just cut to us arriving here. Why did we need a flying ship to get up here? You could just, like, build a ladder or something, or... I don't know, a staircase? Like, get the construction people to do it once you're done fixing all of the buildings in town. Anyways, you just have to exit the flutter and you'll be right inside the dungeon. It's worth noting that if you use the network of caves to get up to this area of the dungeon, like after you clear this dungeon and you come back, like, you can use the network of caves to exit through this elevator, and you'll just, like, if the flutter's not there, you'll just be standing, like, on top of the dungeon entrance with no flutter to pick you up. So you have to jump off and travel through the woods. So that's semi-annoying. Anyhow, now we can equip 3 buster parts.
I've never seen a site like this before. There's a big pit in the middle, and I can't get any readings from inside. I wonder what could be in there.
Guess we jump in and find out.
Mega Man? Are you okay? Can you see a door somewhere?
I see 2 of them. Is that what you were talking about? You have to go in this door first, by the way.
I can't get any readings of that room, Mega Man. My monitor's completely blank. Take a look around and let me know what you see.
How can she not see anything? Is she just not picking up the control panels, the monitors, the...
My guess the power's out in that room. Can you see a switch anywhere?
I don't see any switches, but there's some writing here. Let's see. It says... Operations Room 2. Emergency system active...
That's not a hard word.
Requires direct password input from Eden, or the insertion of 3 level 2, or higher prototype Anthro unit ID cards.
Jeez, you're selling it, aren't you, voice actor?
Prototype Anthro unit.
Oh, do you really want to know what a prototype Anthro unit is? I'll tell you.
Well,
Robot furries. Furry Reaverbots, maybe?
If we're lucky, you'll be able to
No, I'm
see
joking, of
inside
course.
there.
Like, most people don't know that Anthro actually has nothing to do with furries. It means, like, being bipedal, I guess. Having legs. Walking on 2 legs. Anyhow, this dungeon is actually a little bit confusing. And it's a little harder than the previous one, too. Like, you'd expect it to be a little harder, but they use those shield Reaverbots quite a lot in some tight spaces, too, so those are actually pretty difficult to dodge for a new player. And the layout is actually a little bit confusing, too. Like, you saw that when we jumped down that hole, there was an elevator there. You cannot use the elevator until you turn the power back on. So once you jump down, you have to clear this. You cannot really retreat until you've actually finished the dungeon. Sort of. You could actually come back out after hitting the power switch, I guess. So check that hole in the wall for the tele-lens. That'll be used for something later. And there's a measly 450 zenny in that hole. I have no idea why they're giving out such little amounts here. I mean, like, 450 zenny is how much you get for killing just about any Reaverbot at this point. So there's another hole here. You're gonna have to climb back up another way in order to get back up there, because for some reason they had the insight to make it so you cannot jump on the elevator control panels. I have no idea why they suddenly thought, hey, we should probably do that and stop anybody from sequence breaking. But they did it. So this hole in the wall has 920 zenny. There's actually a bunch of holes in the walls in these little pillars here. This one's got the antique bell, which is the final museum item. So I suppose somebody forgot to add a check for all 8 items, because like, I guess you could conceivably pass up one of them. Like I don't remember ever requiring the old heater in order to get the prism crystal, but you know, I'll stop talking about that. Here's ID card number 1.
I think I found an ID card.
Good going.
Do I detect sarcasm,
I'll go
roll?
back to that control room once I found the others.
So yeah, there just happen to be 3 ID cards in chests here, and please get out of my way, Duck Reaverbot. Ouch. Well, no harm done. Let's see, was there 1200 zenny in that hole in the wall? I didn't notice. Ah, it's nothing but more money. Come on. Let's see, and this chest, I believe, has ID card number 2. No, it's the guidance unit. That's used to make another special weapon. Like, even after you get the shining laser, there are still special weapons to find. And it's actually worth noting that the shining laser is actually not the most expensive weapon in the game, but it is certainly the strongest. Anyway, I don't think I'm going the right way, so let's head back in here. Oh, that Duck Reaverbot just sniped me. Or he sneak attacked me. Like, I've heard stories of people, like, getting hit by that Reaverbot and being shoved off that platform. Ruined speedruns. Alright, so I'm gonna try and figure out where I was going. Because in one of these rooms, you will find the power generator that you're supposed to turn on to power the elevators. And that's important because there's another elevator later that you have to take in order to get the 3rd ID card. And why are my Buster Shots doing nothing to this guy? They weren't hitting the shield, were they? Oh well. This chest has the target sensor, which is another development item. And I actually this room actually connects to the rest of the cave network on the island. So I could have come in here and grabbed the target sensor, but it would have been pointless because there's actually, like, the other item that it works with, I think, is found in this dungeon itself. So it would have been pointless to go and grab it. Like, I think this door, yeah, this is the one that connects to the cave network. So in case you were wondering, like, what was behind this door, now you know. It's just this part of the ruins. So, let's see, moving on. Yeah, I thought that was the door I needed to go to, but I forgot that it was actually this one. I haven't done this dungeon in forever. So this room contains a chest with ID card number 2. And it is also the room with the power generator.
That looks like the generator you've been looking for.
I've been looking for this?
Can you get it to work? All right! You should be able to get the elevator to work now.
Maybe you weren't intended to find the power generator until you found the elevator first. Who knows? Sequence breaking is just in my nature at this point. Alright, so let's see here. Now we need to find where the elevator to the next ID card location is. Oh my goodness, that guy sniped me too. I had no idea he was going to be, like, right in front of me, so I actually just rammed right into him like a dork. Which means I had to spend the energy canteen recovering all of my health, but my shield is still broken. I forget if I actually have a shield repair in my inventory right now. So we haven't seen these enemies in a while. They're not hard to deal with. I mean, like, our Buster is supercharged. We have 3 of the best Buster parts. And in this room, you will also see that there is a cracked wall. Now, or a cracked ceiling, rather. Now, anybody who has played The Legend of Zelda knows what to do with a cracked ceiling. Throw a grenade at it. Or a bomb at it, I guess.
Mega Man, I'm seeing something funny on my monitor. It looks like there's a false wall.
Way ahead of you.
There's probably a secret room.
So this is why you needed either the Grand Grenade or the Powered Buster. They're the only weapons that can break that ceiling. Yeah, I would bring the Shining Laser in here, but the Shining Laser can't do it. So this is the elevator you need to ride.
Hey, Mega Man. Have you ever wondered where the Reaverbots
Not
came from?
really.
I mean, who made them and why? You know, we go around doing digs all over the place, but is it right? It's almost like stealing.
I mean, that's...
Mega Man! I'm picking up 3 Reaverbots close by. Watch out!
Oh, look, it's those 3 dog Reaverbots that we've already seen in the other part of the ruins that we were exploring. 3, 2, 1. Grand Grenade! So yes, this boss is very interesting in that you can, like, skate over to the doorway, and then look straight up at the ceiling. The way these enemies work is that their aggression is tied to whether or not they're in view of your camera. So if they're not in view of your camera, they'll just, like, run towards you slowly and not use their fire breath attacks. So you can, like, dash into this doorway, look up at the door, and then when they're close, just keep tossing grenades at them, and the explosion will, like, take down their health bar in a flash. Very fun tactic to use. And for defeating them, you get ID card number 3. Now, normally I would not use a cheap trick like that the first time I'm fighting a boss in a Let's Play. I would actually, like, fight them the normal way, but seeing as I have already destroyed them in the other part of the ruins I was exploring, like, much earlier in the LP, I figure you guys deserve to see a cool trick like that or two. That is a bit risky, however, because they can still, like, ram into you, and there's a chance that not all 3 of the Reaverbots will be in the doorway when you start tossing the grenades, which is what happened to me. I'm not even sure why I'm shooting this thing. I guess I want a little bit more money for when I inevitably have to max out the Shining Laser. And geez, that Reaverbot sniped me again. Because, you know, inevitably I'm going to have to max out the Shining Laser because the people will demand it. course, that assumes people actually watch what I'm doing. This door annoys me, because it keeps automatically closing when you're too far away from it. Anyhow, we have all 3D ID cards. Now all we have to do is go into that control room and throw the switch. Of course, we don't have to do it now. Fun trivia, if you throw the switch and then, like, exit the dungeon through the cave network, then the plot won't advance until you go back into the caves and, like, come all the way up through this dungeon again and then exit that way.
This is it. Once I'm inside the main gate, we should be able to figure out why the Reaver boss activated like that. But how come we can read these ancient letters?
I don't know. How can Roll read any of the books or schematics that you find down in the dungeons? Why is this such a, like, big reveal? So this cutscene of the main gate opening is a complete lie, as I just stated. If you exit the dungeon through the cave network, like, you could come here and the main gate won't be open. You actually have to, like, go back through the cave network, go through the dungeon, and then exit through the flutter in order for the main gate to be open. There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it, and you've probably already figured out what that is by now. But yeah, we get to watch the main gate be all dramatic when it opens. Very spooky. Maybe next time we'll actually go inside.